All right, let me start with anything on the constructions you want to talk about, so I can help you out there. We talked how to make a segment congruent on Friday. I briefly talked about how to double a segment, and then I had you guys kind of think about on your own. Honors guys, figure it out on your own. All right, how do I make a segment that when I add two together, and then how do I make a segment when I subtract two? Anything you want me to go over? Just either make sure you're on the safe side. The subtraction one?
Yeah.
Okay, yep. There's actually two different ways I think I've seen in the past students do this one. First thing, as I told you guys on Friday, I'm going to need a segment to do my construction on. All right, I need a segment to do my construction on. All right, let me get out my compass. Okay, so I need to do TR minus PS. So the first thing I'll do for me, this is the way I'll approach it, is I'll copy TR onto the line segment. So I open up my compass, the length of TR, I slide that bad boy right over here, and I make TR, right? TR. Move, get out of there. There you go. So I make TR. There's the length of TR. Now I need to subtract from it PS, okay, from PS. So a couple different ways right now. I can measure PS. All right. I could come here. I see a lot of students start here and subtract it from TR right here. So let me put a different one right there. So I've subtracted off PS. So my result that according to my directions I have to call QJ would be right there. That's one way to do it. Okay. The other way to do it, let me clear out that last arc mark I made. Okay. The other way is, all right, you go to PS, measure it, but now you go from the beginning of the segment and do it now. And now I go right here, and now QJ would be right here. Okay? Because this would be PS, this would be TR, the difference between them would be right there, QJ. So a couple different ways you could have found where QJ would have been. Others you want to talk about? Okay. How about the actual midpoint stuff in the textbook? Can I go over any of those problems right now? 11. Find the coordinates. So I'm done with constructions. I can put that bad boy in the trash. Of G, if F is the midpoint of G, J. Okay. Let me get another line segment out here. Boom. Just so I can give a visual for you guys. Find the coordinates of point G if F is the midpoint. And F has a point of 1, 3.5. And J has a coordinate of 6, -2. What was point G? Okay, a couple different ways you could do this. All right, a couple different ways. Let me show you because I know people have preferences. And I want you guys to look at a problem, and I don't want you to think you got to do it one way and that's the only way, my way. That's not the case. One way you could do this is use the midpoint formula. You guys remember midpoint formula? You are responsible for it tomorrow. I will not give it to you. Okay, you could use the midpoint formula to find the missing coordinates. So let me start. 1 is my X or Y coordinate of the midpoint, 1. The X, so I could say 1, the midpoint, the X coordinate of my midpoint is equal to my other two X coordinates, which are 6 plus the unknown 1 divided by 2. What's the Y coordinate of the midpoint? 3.5, so I could say 3.5 is equal to the Y coordinates added together divided by 2, and I solved that for X and Y. That's one way, by using the midpoint formula. The other way I showed you on Friday was that skip method. So let me just review that real quick. Here's G, here's F, 1.1, 3.5. G is 6, -2. Everyone ready? Pretend you're on the x-axis. You go from 6 to 1. How many units are you going? 5 in which direction? Negative, right? Ready? So if I'm directly in the middle at point F, I just went 5 to the left. I got to go how many more steps? 5 to the left. So if you're at 1 and you go 5 to the left, where are you? Negative 4. Everyone's good? Now I got to do the same thing, but now on the y-axis with me. I'm at negative 2. Now here's where it might be a little complicated because it's decimals, but okay. If you're at negative 2 and you go up to 3.5, how many units did you go? 5.5 units, right? So that means to get to the end, I got to go another 5.5 units. And where do I end up with? At 9. Again, if you're concerned tomorrow and you got extra time before the period ends, take point G. Well, I have 2 point G's, huh? That should have been J, sorry. Take point G and point J and plug them into the midpoint formula. Take G and J. What's going on? Take those 2 points, plug them into the midpoint formula, and you should get out 3.5, your midpoint. Definitely one on like that tomorrow. Yep.
Number 12.
Number 12. I have 12 up here. Yep. Everybody good with 11?
Yeah.
All right, 12. M is the midpoint of CD. Got it? What's the value of A in the figure? All right, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the skip method real quick. Ready? I'm at 9. You go to 6. How many units did you go? 3, right? In which direction? Left. Well, it's the x coordinate. It's the x coordinate, so I can only go left and right. Left 3 or right 3? Left 3, so that would be minus 3. So go ahead, go 3 again. Minus 3. Where do you end up? At 3, right? So A equals 3. All right. I don't even care. You could have done the same thing with the y coordinate, but it just said find A. I did. All right. So that's all I did. Went 3 to the left. Go 3 to the left again, and you'll be at 3.
That's a question on the quiz. Can we do it like that?
Absolutely. Just at least show me this right here. No. Others? Let's go. Others can go ahead.
54.
Which one? 54. Boom. All right. Suppose M is the midpoint of FG. Okay. Okay, right now, tell me a conclusion you can make if you know M's the midpoint of that line segment. If M is the midpoint of that line segment, what conclusion can I make? Good vocabulary use right there. FM and MG are the same length. All right, just because M's the midpoint. So FM is 5y plus 13. MG is 5y minus 5 minus 3y, and I cut it off here. What is the value here? Oh, what's FG? Okay. So I got to find the length of FG. What do you know about these again? These two that I just wrote on, or they're congruent. So what can I do to solve for y? Set them equal to each other. So I can say 5y plus 13 is equal to 5 minus 3y. Solve for y. I think I get 8y over here. If I move the 13 over there, I get negative 8. So the value of y came out to be negative 1. How can I find the length of FG if I know y now? I know what y is, negative 1, but I'm trying to find the length of FG. What do you want me to do now, Maddie?
You can plug them in for both and add them.
Little plug and chug, right? Plug negative 1 in for y here. Plug it in for y here. These two both should be the same, I hope, because you told me they were congruent. They both should be the same. Add them together, and I should get 16 out. So probably these were 8 and 8. Others you want to see here? Keep them going. We're all good? Okay, let me see what you guys did on the homework, and then I'll talk about your quiz. Okay. First thing, the homework at the end of today's notes is due Wednesday. I'm not going to be checking it at all tomorrow. You guys will literally walk in. I will give you a quiz. You'll sit down and start it. And you have the full period. I will not talk about tonight's homework until Wednesday. So you have until Wednesday to complete tonight's homework because none of the stuff we talk about today is on the quiz. So that's why I kind of want you guys to focus on the quiz tonight and worry about the homework at another time. All right, so first quiz of the year, 7 questions, 24 points. I am going to have one construction on there, so please make sure you have a compass and a straight edge tomorrow. Please have a compass and a straight edge with you tomorrow. Now look, let's be honest with each other. Have we done many constructions? You basically have a couple options, guys. And I don't like to hide things and be secret about what's on a quiz. All right, I'll tell you everything that's on it. It's up to you to prepare for it. That's my feeling for an honors class. I'll tell you anything you want about it. All right, buddy, you got to prepare for it. So with this one construction, here are your choices. All right, here are your choices. You can have anything we just went over on the homework, 1 through 4. Those are choices that could be on the quiz. And anybody remember the last one we did on Friday? Using your compass and straight edge, find the what of a line segment. Midpoint. Those are your choices, guys. I am not going to do anything different. So it's going to be one of these 4 or find the midpoint. Done. I'm telling you right now. Now it's on your plate whether you want to prepare for that or not. I'm telling you it's one of those 5. One of these 4 or find the midpoint. All right? Facts about points, lines, and planes. Vocab. Now, when I say vocab, that doesn't mean write the definition for me. That means you are going to see these words as part of a problem. Collinear. Do you know what that means or not? To answer the question. I will not ask you to define it, but it will be in a part of a question, so you got to know what the heck it means. Same with coplanar, and then you might want to just review your notes to make sure you know how to name a plane. Draw your own diagram given facts. What do I mean by that? Let's say there's 3 lines in a plane, and this is not what's on the quiz, but an example. You guys did this on your homework about a week and a half ago. You got a plane R, so you got to make sure I know how to draw a plane. If it's called plane R, put the capital letter in the corner. On that plane, I have 3 lines that intersect at point J, but not all 3 lines are on the plane. So there you go. All right, so I will give you a couple facts about the diagram. I want the diagram drawn for me. Algebra with segments. Kayla actually just asked the question about this on homework. Where is it? That's what I mean by algebra with segments. Okay, set up an equation, solve for the variable, plug it back in to answer the question. Is it necessarily going to be a midpoint question? No. It could be add the 2 segments up and set it equal to the whole segment. All right, but that's what I mean with algebra with segments. Set up an equation based on the facts I give you, solve it for the variable, plug it back in to get my final answer. All right, and finally, probably the biggest portion of the quiz will be distance and midpoint. And yes, on a distance question, you will be asked to do simplest radical form. So if you get the square root of 20, square root of 48, let's be ready to break that down. Okay, let's be ready to break that down correctly. It's on there. And if you want a little hint on what one of the questions will be like, go back to that Ben and Kate problem we did where they did a map of their diagram and each unit represented 10 yards. Okay, there's going to be one similar to that on tomorrow's quiz. Okay. Anything I can answer from you guys? Yep.
Is this up on Classes somewhere?
This quiz review?
Yeah.
I can if you want.
Yeah.
I can put it up there later. Yep. I can absolutely do that. I'll just put it under Unit 1. Okay. It'll say quiz review topics. Yep. I can do that. I don't give out review problems for quizzes. I do for unit tests, but not for quizzes. I'll at least tell you what's on there, and that's it. Everything else is on you. Okay. I will be after school today. if you want to stop by for anything, or if you have 3rd, 5th, or 6th off, study hall or lunch, just make sure tell me you're coming in. Did somebody tell me they're not going to be able to take it in here, or was that my 8th period class? That must have been 8th period. So tomorrow, walk right in. I will say, hey, good morning, here's your quiz. Okay, you sit down, get set, take it. I will give you a heads up tomorrow. We're scheduled to have a fire drill during this period. All right, so I don't think it'll impact the time you have. You should be able to finish it. It is a quiz, and it's 7 questions, but there will be a fire drill at the beginning of class tomorrow. So hopefully that doesn't rattle your cages and get you thrown off your game. All good? Yep.
Will you be able to use our calculator?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Calculator, pen, compass, pencil, just no notes.
If for any reason we don't finish in class, can we come after school and just take the time that the
Depends on how much you have left. Usually I like kids to finish all in one period, so I'll let you stay an extra 5-6 minutes, however you need. All right, and the only reasoning behind that is you already know what's on the quiz, and now I'm going to give you from then until after school to think about the problem you still have to do. So it's all out of fairness that I would like everyone to finish in class. So if that means staying a little extra in the 3rd period, that's what it means. It's fine. I have no issue with that. All good? So we're ready for tomorrow? Homework is due on Wednesday. Okay, so if there's no questions, let's move on to day 6. Not on the quiz. Can't stress that enough. Not on the quiz. Angle measure. All right, angles now. We've done a lot about segments, distance, and we're all good. Distance, midpoint, you want to use those formulas, that's on you. Won't be on the quiz at all, okay, as far as me providing that formula. All right, angle measure. First thing I got to talk about is a ray. You guys know what a line segment looks like, right? Take one of the endpoints off and put an arrow. You got a ray. Okay, that's what a ray is. Take a line segment, take one of the endpoints off, and put an arrow now. That's a ray. Okay, that is a ray. All right, let's label this now. A, B, put some points on there, C. Okay, how do I write it mathematically? You guys should know going into tomorrow anyway for the quiz how to write a line mathematically in notation, how to write a line segment using math notation. Now how to do a ray. It's a ray symbol. Here's the catch though. Here's the catch. Order matters. Order matters. Remember, if you do line segment AB, it's the same thing as BA, right? Order matters now with the ray. You have to put the endpoint first. Okay, so this is ray A, and now from here you can put any of the points on there. Ray AB. This could also be ray AC, but it cannot be ray BC. That's a different ray. You have to start with the endpoint of the ray. All good? All right. What's opposite rays? Ooh, 2 collinear rays with the same endpoint. Do we think we can draw that? Do we think we can draw that bad boy? In a nutshell, you're going to draw a line. Here you go. F, G, H. Anybody see 2 opposite rays? I'm going to ask somebody to name the 2 opposite rays here correctly in a second. 2 rays share the same endpoint. Got to be collinear, which they are. All right, can you properly name 2 of the opposite rays up here? Oh, 8, Grace, hello. Hi, I'm doing well, thanks.
ray FG and FH?
Yep, FG and FH, good work, are opposite rays. work. Good work. You guys good over there? Maddie Killer, can you see this all right? Or there we go. All right, we ready? Everyone's ready for all the slides today. This is your big week. From now on, see our boy up there. Slide left. We'll just go through them so we know our choices when it comes up. Angle time. Angles. You guys have seen an angle before? I hope. Two rays sharing the same endpoint. They don't have to be collinear though. Two rays sharing the same endpoint. There it is. Two rays share the same endpoint. Let's put some fancy stuff here. Ready. Let's put this right here. Let's stop right there. Everyone see where the two rays meet at that same endpoint. That's called the vertex. Vertex, okay? Just a little FYI. Vertex. Put some points on each of the rays. There's B. There's C. And inside the ray, inside the angle, I'm going to put a 2 spot. All right, a 2. Okay, naming an angle. This is a big part of this here. Name a segment's huge, so is naming an angle. There's 3 different ways you're allowed to name an angle. You could name it by the vertex. What was the vertex here again? Point what? So I could name this, ready? Angle. That's my angle symbol, everybody. There's the angle symbol. It almost looks like the less than sign. Sometimes you'll also see me do this, put an arc mark through it. So you'll see both versions for me. I go back and forth. There's no right way to do it. Well, there's no wrong way, to do it. So this is going to be angle A. So I can name that angle saying that's angle A. Another way, very, very, I don't think maybe once or twice during the year you'll see this again, but if there's a lowercase letter or number inside the angle, you can do it that way. So we could also name this angle 2. That's a rare one right there. Most of the time, I'm going to ask you to name it with 3 letters. All right? 3 letters where the middle letter is the vertex. What do I mean? Anybody got an example? Name that angle where the middle one's the vertex. BAC. You could also do CAB. So 3 different ways to name an angle. I would prefer this way, and you'll see why coming up. Where sometimes just naming it by the vertex might not be the best idea, but you got to see a diagram for that. Any issues naming an angle? All right, let's keep rocking. A lot of vocab. Curtains. Was that the first time, curtains? All right, you guys don't get jacked up as much as I do, I guess. That's fine. All right, I'm hoping you guys have heard of all these angles here. I'm hoping. Right angle. What is it?
90 degrees.
Not exactly 90 degrees, right? And for a bonus, anybody know what I usually would see on a diagram that says, oh, that's a right angle? Because you're not going to see 90 degrees with the degree sign. Tim?
It's like a little square on the near the vertex.
Yeah, it's a box, right? I got a little box. I see a little box. Right angle symbol. Yep. So good. We've seen that before. Have you guys seen a straight angle? Ever heard of that? Anybody know what that measures? 180 degrees. Basically, it's another name for what geometric term that we've gone over already? A line. Yeah, it's a line. All right. This measures exactly 180 degrees. And yes, you are correct. It is a line. And there it is, 180 degrees. Anybody remember a cube back in the day? Kevin?
Less than 90 degrees.
Okay, I'm gonna add on to that a little bit. You are right, less than 90, but there is such thing as negative angles, and those wouldn't be acute. So I'm gonna go 90 all the way down to 0. So between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. Any degree measure in between is considered acute. And then obtuse, anybody? Obtuse?
Greater than 90?
And I got to put because you can have you can have a 320 degree angle. You guys don't worry about that next year, but it's so between 90 and I'm going to make a stop, 180. Okay.
Does it include 180?
No, it does not. Just like it does, acute does not include 0 and 90. So I'm just saying between, I'm not saying or equal to. Between 90 and 180. All right, so good terms here. Anything? I don't want to go too fast. Star. All right, what's up? You can, right in the back. Best one in the school right there. The beast of all sharpeners. All right, you guys ready to do some constructions? Got your compass and a straight edge, please. Compass and a straight edge. Matt, that thing just eat that thing alive? Yeah, darn right it did. Compass, straight edge. And I know the constructions are going to start piling on very quickly. On Classroom, I'm going to post a YouTube page of all the videos of all the constructions we've done. All right, so if anytime you're sitting at home and you need to do a construction, you're like, wow, I do not remember the steps. You can go to the YouTube page and just click on whatever one you need a refresher for. So we got you covered. Here's what I want to do with you using your compass and a straight edge. Construct an angle congruent to a given one. So I need an angle that's congruent to A. Okay, I need an angle that is congruent to A. Everyone ready? What I need you to do first, I started you off with point B. Can you make a ray, please, coming off of point B? All right, a ray starting from point B. So take your straight edge. Let's make a ray coming off of B. Take your compass, put it on the vertex of the angle we are copying. Take your compass, put it on the vertex of the angle we're copying. And what you want to do is make an arc through both of the rays of that angle. Doesn't matter how wide or how narrow your compass opening is. You want to put your compass point on the vertex and make an arc that intersects both those rays, like I have done right there. Okay, take your time. I know it's still awkward with the compass. Keep that same opening. Keep the same opening. Go over to endpoint B. Go over to endpoint B right now. And make another arc that goes through your ray. So I'm going to make this same arc that goes through that ray with endpoint B. And I'll wait because these next two steps are a little complicated. Everyone's got it? We're good? Looks good? Okay, now go back to the angle we're copying. Do you remember do you see the 2 points of intersection on the ray? On the rays? You are going to open up your compass that opening. So put both compass points on both points of intersection. You do not need to make any arc marks. All you're doing is measuring that distance between the intersection points. So measure the distance between the intersection points. That's it. That's it. Just measure it. Come back over to your ray. Now here's the part you got to remember. Okay, I measured the distance between the intersection points. You do not put it back on point B. You put it back on where your arc intersected your ray. That's where you want to put your compass point right now. And you want to make an arc, and it doesn't matter if it's below or above your ray. You want to make an arc that intersects your first one. If you can't, that means go back to the first one and make it longer. Okay, if you guys cannot have those two intersect, that's fine. You didn't do it wrong. Go back and make the first one longer so they will intersect. And this can happen above or below your ray. And we're almost done. Grab your straight edge if you have that point of intersection now. Again, guys, here you go. I know some people are do a little bit slower here. I measured the opening. I measured the points of intersection here. And then I go over to where the arc intersected my ray, put my compass point there, and make an arc that intersects the first one. Okay? Okay, take your straight edge, line up the vertex with your point of intersection, and draw in your second ray for this angle. Line it up. Now we have to talk. What do you know about these two angles right now? They're congruent. What does it mean what's it mean for two segments to be congruent? They have what? Same length. So what's it mean for two? Because now, if you look at those two angles, you're going to be like, Mr. Cullen, look at that thing on the right. That thing is huge. Much bigger than the one on the left. That's not what congruent means for angles. Congruent angles have the same angle measure. So if I grabbed a protractor right now, both of those would have the same degree measure. How do I mark that on the diagram? How do we mark segments congruent? Segments, how do we mark them congruent? With what? Hash marks. Different for angles. Different for angles. If two angles are congruent, inside near the vertex, we put arc marks. This represents that two angles are congruent if I see arc marks. Okay, that's the symbol for congruent. All right, how to mark an angle congruent. That's how I mark them congruent, with arc marks. Hash marks on segments, arc marks on angles. Look good? Any issues going? Whew. Pinwheels. All right, next up. We got a new term. Which is bisex. Bisex. You guys don't. Okay. Bisex. It is a ray that cuts an angle into two congruent angles. Okay, it is a ray that cuts an angle in half. Okay, so the two angles are congruent to each other. It looks like just from your paper, we forgot to put in angle BAC. So why don't you guys just draw in angle BAC for me right now? Okay, angle BAC. Okay, that's what it was. Okay, got it. We're not gonna construct this. So what we're gonna do right now, we're just gonna draw in AX so it bisects angle BAC. Okay, so it bisects angle BAC. So from A, I'm gonna draw in a ray, AX. I'll show you how to construct it on Wednesday. right, so what do I know now? AX is an angle bisector. It just cut BAC in half. Do you see the two congruent angles? Name them. Go ahead, name them. What are the two congruent angles up here?
XAC.
Okay, ready? Angle XAC is now congruent to angle.
AXC? Oh, no.
Well, that wouldn't be an angle, right? If I go AXC, that's not an angle, right? I try to put the vertex in the middle.
So XAC.
XAC, that's what I just have up here.
Oh, sorry.
What's it congruent to? Come on, man. Third time's the charm. BAX. Okay, those two have the same angle measure. Hey, what can I put on my diagram now? What's this? What are we doing, charades? What do we call those? Arc marks, right? I can put arc marks. Now watch how I do mine. I kind of stagger them so it doesn't look like one full one, because that looks like I'm talking about the whole angle. So if this is the case, I like to stagger them a little bit. All right. Questions, comments, concerns? We all good? All right, let's use it on a diagram now. All right, now, hopefully this doesn't become overwhelming, because this is where we need to get to. Based on the directions, all right, opposite ray is great. This is huge right here. KN bisects angle LKM, cuts it in half. I need you guys to get in the habit of, hey, read the directions. Can you mark the diagram with something now, please? If you know that KN bisects LKM, get in the habit of, okay, I just gave you that information. Now mark the diagram with something. What are you guys marking on your diagram? Arc marks where? Where are you putting arc marks? For which angle? If LKM is the angle that's getting bisected. Where are your arc marks? Grace, go.
LKM and NKM.
NK, yep, right there. What are those arc marks telling me? They're equal. They're the same measure. Let's get in that habit. Bisects. Mark the diagram with arc marks. All right, let's keep reading. Example 1. LKM. Everyone see LKM? The full angle is 7x minus 5. NKM, 3x plus 9. And I probably should, I can't just assume anything here. The M out in front is find the measure. All right, how many degrees? All right, how many degrees is LKM? Ooh, boy, huh? So I got to try to help me out, try to set up an equation here. That's 3x plus 9. I know the whole thing, LKM, is 7x minus 5. Got to set up something, right? Guys, what did you just put at the beginning of the problem? You put arc marks, didn't you? Well, if MKN is 3x plus 9, it's congruent to NKL. How can I label NKL? With what as well? 3x plus 9. They're equal. So I can also put 3x plus 9 right here. What do those two angles add up to? MKL, which the problem told me was 7x minus 5. So I could say 3x plus 9 plus 3x plus 9, those two congruent angles add up to 7x minus 5. Everyone see where I'm getting that from? We're really building big time, aren't we? Okay? Congruent angles mean they have the same measure, so if one's 3x plus 9, the other one's got to be 3x plus 9. Add them together, kind of like I did with segments, set it equal to the whole thing, 7x minus 5. Go ahead, solve. You guys can solve for x, plug it back in, and answer the question. what do we end up with? 7 times 23 minus 5. Oh boy. No calculators, huh?
$156.
156. Thank you. All right. And I'm probably not going to have enough time to get to the next one. So we will end it there for now. We'll pick it back up on Wednesday. All right. You guys have enough information to try the homework out, though. Definitely. Do on Wednesday. Worry about the quiz tomorrow. As soon as you guys walk through the door, I'll give you the quiz. So any questions, come on in, or you can email me too tonight. All right. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for big quiz number 1.